Yes, we are live for your sprint race in Qatar. Watchalong. Oh, it's going to be exciting. What a brilliant qualifying we had yesterday. You know, we've got Oscar Piastri P1, which I am so pleased for him. George Russell P2. That's quite a surprise, actually, to see Mercedes up there in P2. I think it's a surprise for George as well, if you listen to his comments after the race. Lando Norris P3. See, this is all just keeping the excitement. Can we take it to Abu Dhabi, right, for the decision who's going to be crowned World Driver Championship? The big shock has to be Fernando Alonso, qualifying P4 in the Aston Martin. But I don't know if you caught any of Adrian Newey's comments. He did say he'd done a little bit of fettling on the setup for Fernando's car. He said something to do with the tuning. So maybe Newey being there this weekend has helped Fernando Alonso achieve a qualifying position of P4. Yuki Tsunoda, hats off. Yuki Tsunoda qualifying P5 for the sprint race. That's amazing considering Max Verstappen's P6. So, you know, Yuki probably just a little bit too little, too late, but still interesting. Hey, I'm going to go say a little chat. Hey, Extract. Hey, Only True. Hey, Gemma. Nice to see you all in the chat. It's going to be an exciting race, this one. Oh, Gemma, yeah, the video earlier on Newey. If you haven't seen it yet, you want to go and check out my earlier video where I was discussing Adrian Newey's comments about his new role at Aston Martin and how the door is well and truly open for Horner. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. Have a watch of it when you can, maybe after this stream. If you get a second, that would be good. But yeah, I'll keep taking you through the grid. So we've got Kimi Antonelli up in P7. Carlos Sainz, decent. Performance from him, P8. Leclerc, Ferrari not having a good time here at all, down in P9. Albon, P10. Hadjar, P11. Behrman, P12. Bortoletto, P13. Hulkenberg, P14. Ocon, P15. Lance Stroll down in P16. Now that's telling. You know, for Lance Stroll to be P16 and Fernando Alonso P14, was that due to a slight retune on Fernando's car? As Adrian Newey mentioned earlier, did Lance not get the same treatment? I would have thought if there was any tuning done by Newey, it would have been replicated on Lance's car as well, to be fair. Liam Lawson down P17. Lewis Hamilton, horrendous day yesterday. Sprint qualifying, not good at all. Car, terrible. Hamilton, dejected. He looks like a beaten man at the moment, but let's see what he can do from P18. It is quite difficult to overtake on this track, especially in a sprint race. So I'm not expecting too many magical moments really from him. Pierre Gasly P19, Franco Colapinto P20. The Alpine, true to form, right down at the back of the grid. Oh, so yeah. Gemma says, welcome Horner 2026. Maybe. Horner, if you watch that video, you can see why I'm saying that the Horner deal is still on. It's the language. The language that Newey was using. So short term. It really, if anything, it's going to set the rumours off more than they were before. But I think when you look at the psychology and the analysis of what Adrian Newey was saying and how he was saying it, if you watch my earlier video, I think you will find some interesting points. Some interesting points in there. But if you are new and you've just found us and you're new to the F1 Grandstand, new to the channel, subscribe if you haven't. If you do enjoy the video at any point, smash a like on it. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all that content. We thank you so much for all of your continued support. It makes just a massive difference to the success of the channel. So let me take you around your screen. On the right of your screen, you will see we've got all the live timings for each driver, positional changes, pit stops, tyre choices, sector times. And just below me here, as you can see, we've got the track where you can see the cars who are out on track, where they are on track, etc. So yeah, we're trying to bring you everything. Hey, Legend, nice to have you in the chat. Only True, Torpedo is coming. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, Only True, right? We could see a situation. We've got Yuki, right? Qualified P5, which is quite phenomenal. Hey, Mark. Yes, we are. This is going to be a good one, this. because you got Yuki in P5, you got Norris in P3. There is a real possibility, lap one, turn one, that we're going to see some sort of incident. I mean, listen, I'm not wishing anybody to get injured. However, a DNF from Lando Norris this weekend in the sprint and the Grand Prix would make it would make Abu Dhabi exciting, wouldn't it? You know, a 3-horse race. Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, any of them could win the World Drivers' Championship. It'd make it great for next weekend. But, you know, for the neutral. But yeah, I think this sprint race is, I think the fact that Piastri has outqualified Lando Norris is great for Piastri. You know, it's great news for him. Great for his confidence. I did say, though, in the preview video, I had Piastri down as P2 in the Grand Prix and Norris P3. I did think that this is going to be a better track for Piastri. It's a high grip track, which Piastri is very good at. It suits a very smooth driving style. Qualifying is going to be key because overtaking is not that great here. So, yeah, Piastri is looking like he's in good shape to get a result. Who knows? There might be a mechanical failure with Norris's car. Who knows? But we're here for it. We're at the business end now. Sprint race. 8 points up for grabs for the winner. I think Verstappen struggling with his setup yesterday. The fact that Yuki outqualified Max Verstappen yesterday is crazy, right? It's quite remarkable, that. I mean, and I feel for Yuki because I think Yuki knows. I think he knows that his F1 days are over for now. He's not going to have a drive on the grid in 26. I think Liam Lawson knows he has got that drive in the Racing Bulls. I think we all know Arvid Lindblad's going to be in the other Racing Bull. And I think we all know that Hadjar's not been he hasn't got a good poker face, Hadjar, has he? When Hadjar's been asked about taking the seat in the Red Bull and the Red Bull seat, his poker face is terrible. He's almost laughing. He's like, yeah, I know what's going on. And he's sort of like telling everybody without telling everybody that he's got the Red Bull seat. So yeah, I feel for Yuki. I'd like to see him put in a good performance for him. I think he is a sacrificial lamb. I think yesterday they obviously let Yuki just let him cook. They didn't probably restrict him too much with weird setups as they're trying to get data for Max's car. So I think Yuki's performed pretty well yesterday. Well, very well yesterday. It's just all too little too late, right? I mean, he could win, which he won't. But if he won the Grand Prix on Sunday, I mean, I don't know. Would that be enough to keep his seat? I don't know. I think the writing's on the wall for Yuki. I do. But we'll see. If you just joined us, welcome to the stream. As soon as the race starts, we get all of our data. So you'll get driver position, tyre choice, sector times, all the data you could possibly want. Plus our little track here with the gives you an indicator of where the cars are. And obviously we've got great commentary and chat in the chat. So do get in the chat. Tell me where you're watching from. It's good to see Gemma, Only True, Mark, Extract, all in there. Great to have everyone in the stream. I like Qatar though. I mean, I actually think the gravel traps they have on track limits is useful in some ways, as in to prevent cars going out of track limits. The problem is cars are still going out, exceeding track limits and spitting up gravel onto the racetrack, which can cause problems. But overall, I think the gravel traps are a better idea than having situations where cars are literally taking advantage of exceeding track limits and gaining advantages. Oh, taking position now. How long have we got? Oh, just a few minutes. You do not want to miss the start of this one. You do not want to miss the start of this one. Let me tell you. Just a few minutes till we kick off. So you've got, so what's interesting is you've got right in that sort of danger zone, as I'd call it, into that first corner, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso. So you've got Lando Norris P3. And if he doesn't sort of jump any positions from the start, you got P3 Lando Norris, P4 Fernando Alonso, P5 Yuki Tsunoda, and P6 Max Verstappen. I mean, there's gonna be all the, you know, that spells carnage to me. And right behind them, you got Kimi Antonelli, Carlos Sainz. You don't want to miss the start of this one. If Oscar gets away clean, I think it's like most sprint races. You know, you lead from the front and you win it from the front 99.9% of the time. So if Piastri gets away well, I think we should have a good situation. Unless you believe the conspiracy theories, maybe they nerf Piastri's car. Oh, so Mark's in Dartford. Yes, Mark, I responded to your comments on the Newey video. I did. Thank you very much for commenting. It makes a difference, actually. When people comment on the videos, I think it helps the YouTube algorithm to get it out there for people to see it. Likes and comments seem to matter a lot, actually. So Alpines, I think, are pretty much, their season's done, isn't it? I think they're just waiting for 26. I think Ferrari are waiting. Well, Hamilton's definitely just hoping for 26. I feel like he could just, I feel like Hamilton's having one of those weekends where he just wants to get under his duvet and pull it over his head and put it behind him. The interesting battle for 11th and 12th. You've got Hadjar and Behrman. Battle of the rookies in the middle of the field. I mean, really, Ferrari need to find a way to find a better setup for this car, for Qatar. Because with them having limited practice time, then even this sprint race, they're going to have to use it to try and improve the setup of the car. Obviously, they would have worked on the car last night, taken the data that they managed to gather yesterday, and see if they can help with the setup of that Ferrari. But if you listen to Hamilton, I think all of his hope is gone. Yeah, excitement's building now. A couple of minutes before they kick off. 1 minute till lights out. So Piastri's gone on used medium tyres. Okay. And then Norris has gone on the hard tyre. I mean, the hard tyre is going to be slower than the medium. I mean, it's only a 19 lap race. So the hards, I mean, I think that's a weird choice. I like the fact that Carlos Sainz gave some suggestions on how to improve the sprint race. That everyone should be on a soft tyre, which means that there should be degradation by the end of the race, where we could see some overtaking, and tyre management would come into it. Well, here we go on the formation lap. Data is coming through. That's good. We are ready. All in. Hey, all in. Nice to have you in the chat. Yeah, all in says Lando just have to copy what Rosberg did to be champ. Russell, can we play in favour of Lando as well? It will be interesting. Yeah, I agree. I actually just think that Lando needs to get through this first corner. You know, I think this first lap, like, you know what sprint races are like? There's a sort of won and lost in the first 2 laps, aren't they? So the start of this race is going to be key. You do not want to miss it. So Piastri needs a good start. That's key. But we know, knowing Norris, like Norris is not slow off the line, is he? So yeah, it's all to play for. Let's keep this World Driver Championship alive. And also, let's not rule Alonso out. The Newey effect in full effect. You know, Fernando Alonso qualifying P4 is quite remarkable. Okay, lining up now. See Bottas in the Mercedes pit there. Can't wait to see him on the grid in 2026 in that caddy. Okay. So I'm sure Zach Brown in the McLaren pit wall is just hoping for a clean start for both of his boys. That's it, Mark. This is it. This is the exciting bit. I mean, if anything, I definitely need Piastri to make it through. But if Lando doesn't score any points, I'm here for that. It's good for the championship. Here we go. So we've got 4 cars starting from the pit lane. Okay, they're all lined up. They're waiting for the cars in the pit lane to line up. They're off. It's a great start from Lando. He has come right up alongside. Oh, Lando and George nearly touched. Lando's lost a space to make. Yuki Tsunoda may put in a move on Lando. George Russell holds position. Lando does hold his position. Both Red Bulls side by side. Fernando Alonso looks to have lost out there. He has. He's dropped back to 6th place. So Piastri starts off. Great start for Piastri. Nice and clean. The midfield looks like carnage at the moment, but no contact. So we've got Piastri from Russell from Norris. Verstappen's taken that place from Yuki Tsunoda. Alonso's dropped down 2 places to P6. It's a great start from Verstappen. But I tell you, Norris and Russell were wheel to wheel coming into that first corner. Amazing that there was no contact there. Piastri already putting some clean air between him and Russell. Max Verstappen all over the gearbox of Norris, though. It's a difficult track to overtake on this one. As Isaac Hadjar tries to put a move on Carlos Sainz. So Tsunoda losing ground already to Verstappen. Verstappen keeping Norris honest, though, all over his gearbox. Oh, Charles Leclerc's dropped 4 places down to P13. Hamilton down P18. Not a great start for either of the Ferraris. But Leclerc dropping 4 places. He's the biggest loser on the first 2 laps for sure. So Max Verstappen said he obviously in sprint qualifying he was struggling with the setup of the car, but of course it's in part firme conditions unless you want to start from the pit lane. Oh, that means that Verstappen's not been able to make any changes to his car, but he is all over the gearbox of Lando Norris here. And for a car that he said was not performing well in sprint qualifying, and it wasn't, he was beaten by his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, under a heavier load with more fuel, and it seems to be performing better. Or maybe just Verstappen's found a different way to drive it. So Russell, fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:25.085, whereas Piastri's fastest lap is 1:25.086. Not much in it. Oh, okay, I just seen where Leclerc went off. Just overcooked it on the opening lap, put his rear left into the gravel. So good news for Piastri. He is holding his lead quite nicely. I think he's actually putting some clean air between him and Russell. Norris has got a lot to deal with here with Verstappen all over his gearbox. He's within DRS range. I mean, that Red Bull does look like it's has some improved performance from yesterday. Yuki Tsunoda holding P5, Alonso P6, Antonelli P7, Sainz P8, Hadjar up to P9, he's made up 2 places, Albon P10, Bortoletto's jumped 2 places to P11, Behrman P12, Leclerc down 4 places to P13, Lawson up 2 places, P14, Ocon, Hulkenberg down 2 places, Stroll holding P17, Hamilton holding P18, Gasly and Colapinto 19 and 20. I mean, I'm not expecting, really, if we're looking at any battles where I could see some overtakes, I actually think the most likely sort of excitement or battle is going to come from Verstappen and Norris. I'm expecting Piastri just to, you know, have a pretty nice time up at the front there. It's going to be Norris and Verstappen and Russell. Maybe there'll be some drama coming from there. But really now I'm expecting us all to be in a DRS drain for the next, well, for the entire 19 laps. Just looking at the start, you can see how Alonso dropped 2 places. I mean, that's good driving from the entire grid here. No one touched. And it was... So Norris and Russell did actually touch there on the first lap, coming to the first corner. Looking at the move that Verstappen put on Yuki, I think he let him go there. I think Yuki lifted. In fact, I'm sure Yuki lifted to allow Max through. Yeah. So when Verstappen was challenging Yuki, there was no defend by Yuki, obviously. Yuki did, by the looks of it to me, he lifted to allow Max to go through. Probably he was told to do so, I should imagine, by his pit wall. Piastri holding a 1.2 second lead over Russell. Really, it's Norris and Verstappen. Verstappen within 8 tenths. Wow, Verstappen is doing everything. He's really pushing the track limits there. Max Verstappen. He's fighting. He's definitely fighting to get past Norris. He's keeping him within a second. He needs to get a little closer if he wants to get DRS, though, to actually try and put a move on Norris. So Piastri has the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:24.6. We will see an evolution of the track. The track will get quicker. Lap times will come down. So Piastri is pulling out a lead now. He's got it up to 1.6 seconds. I mean, that's the only thing with some of these races in the Grand Prix calendar, is especially with the sprint races. And that's why I think Carlos Sainz's improvement suggestions to improve the sprint format are actually pretty good. If all these cars were running a super soft sprint tire, where the degradation does come into play for the last few laps, and we might actually see an element of overtaking. We may actually see that the drivers who are able to protect and look after those tires, there'll be it's a different layer to the strategy within a sprint race. And I actually like that idea. I think having a super soft tire just for the sprint race would make it a little bit more exciting, because I do like the idea of the format, but the format just hasn't quite grabbed everybody yet, has it? The sprint race. I mean, Dominicali was basically saying that, well, you know, young people now, they have the attention span of a goldfish. You know, it's all about fast pace. I mean, I think he sees the sprint race becoming a much more integral part of the Grand Prix race weekend. I think eventually we might see a sprint race at every single Grand Prix. But if they're going to do that, they need to make the format more exciting. There needs to be an element of jeopardy. Otherwise, every driver just chucks on a medium tyre or a hard tyre and is able to just quite comfortably do the 20 laps. You know. The Wooden says, would they pick this as a track for a sprint? Well, I think ultimately they wouldn't. I think if the sprint race format, if they get it right, I actually think what the FIA want to do is make sprint races like integral to the Grand Prix weekend. So every race has a sprint race to make the weekend better for the fans. Max Verstappen was talking about saying, well, you know, the race weekends are too long. So I don't know how that will play out. The FIA want a more entertaining show, and they want the fans to get more value. So yeah, because they want the fans to get more value, they want to deliver more racing and not just sort of practice. And a lot of the drivers said there's too much practice. So I think every track ultimately, maybe in 5 years' time, will be a sprint track. But some tracks are pure shit, exactly. But this is what I was going to say. They wouldn't. So if the way to combat that is to make it so it's not about the track. It's about the fact that there's jeopardy of the tyres degrading. Because then this track would be good. Well, any track would be better. This track would be good. Every track would be better if there was an element of the tyres, a chance of the tyres degrading faster depending on driving style. So we could see towards the end of the sprint race, tyres falling off and people who looked after the tyres then be able to mount a charge. That's the thing. So I think actually if they manage to get the tire compound right, it could make it more exciting. Yeah, but but that's what I'm saying. If everyone's on the same tire, it comes down to, and all the tires, if everyone's on the same tire and there's a chance of the tire dropping off, i.e., it's difficult to, you would literally have to manage the tire to make them last the entire race. That's what I'm saying. Some drivers will be better at that than others. Some people might need to push early and then protect the tire for maybe 5 laps. Do you see what I mean? And then defend the last 5 laps, and it all comes down to tire management. So I think if everyone's got a tire which really will degrade at a very fast rate, so for everybody it's going to be a challenge to make the tire last. I think that would make it more exciting. That's basically what Carlos Sainz was saying. Mark says, plus all the cars are so close in pace, it does make the race sometimes a bit like a big train, which is not good for you. And yeah, it's a DRS train, isn't it? That's what's going to happen today. Yeah, Max is non-stop crying about the car. I'll tell you why only true. It's because Max was moaning about the car in sprint qualifying, and that's why he only qualified late. Oh, sorry, only qualified, what was it, P6? And the problem is, because he wanted to keep his qualifying position, they couldn't change the setup of the car. So he's basically driving a car he thought was crap, and now and he's not been able to change the setup. So he knows the car's bad, and now he's just having to live with it to try and get some points. Because obviously, with a sprint race, if you start from the pit lane, well, just forget about it. You're not going to get any points. So he's having to drive the car now, which is, in his opinion, not good. I agree that wood in this track is not going to... We're not going to get any... Oh, I say that. Hadjar... Liam Lawson's just been pushed off the track by Charles Leclerc after he put a move on him. So Charles Leclerc's just dropping back. He's down in P14 now. As much as Leclerc did a better qualifying performance than Hamilton, I think we can all agree, and we can see during this sprint race, that Ferrari is a bag of spanners. They've got so much work to do on that car before qualifying. Later, how are they going to extract some more performance out of this Ferrari for qualifying? They've got after this, 2 hours to get the car ready? Yeah, I think it's unlikely that Verstappen is going to get close enough to Norris now. Look, it's just a train of cars for the next 7 laps. We're not... Leclerc's just taken Leclerc's just gone past Lawson and taken the position back. Lawson looks like he's got some sort of problem, actually. Ocon is all over his gearbox as well. Oh, Leclerc going wide again. So apparently Leclerc's been off 4 or 5 times in this Grand Prix. That Ferrari's just not able to put a lap together. I mean, you can see why Hamilton's so dejected. I mean, Hamilton's just holding position down in P18. You're right, Mark. Yeah, something is really bad with both Ferraris. Lewis not overtaking is never heard of. I know. Hamilton just cruising around P18. He's got Lance Stroll in front of him. You'd think that Lewis would be taking chunks of time out of Lance. He isn't. The Ferrari is not working. So Antonelli's just gone past Alonso. Alonso down now to P7 after a great qualifying performance to qualify P4. Yeah, Lewis has had his worst season, undeniably. The Wooden is just having a terrible time. And I know what you're saying about, if you're saying for a long time, as in if you're bringing Mercedes into that. George Russell did seem to perform better than Lewis Hamilton in his final seasons in Mercedes. Yeah, actually, do you know what? Only true. This is what I think. I think when it comes down to like performance, I think it's I think there are times when you know the car's bad and you know the driver's added a lot of value to that car. Leclerc's a great example. We know the Ferrari car is not a good car. And I think Charles Leclerc's performances of getting 7 podiums out of the SF25, I think he has flattered the car, right? So you could say, you know, Hamilton, Leclerc absolutely has performed better than where we think that Ferrari really should be. And then, but when we look at McLaren as a good example, we know the McLaren car is great. So when we look at, say, Lando Norris's performances, you know he's done his job, right? He's in the best car, and you know he's doing a good job. Max Verstappen, I think we can agree that the car isn't as good as a McLaren. So when we see Verstappen up there qualifying P1 and putting a great Grand Prix together, I think a lot of it is down to the driver. And we just have to try and work out, don't we, whether how much value to add to the car and how much value to add to the driver. That's what I think. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to say. And to be honest, I would love to see Verstappen. And actually, you know what? Third and fourth in a sprint race isn't bad. It's good. I like to see Piastri up there. Piastri's going to win this sprint race for sure. So Piastri, lap 15, 19 laps. Are we going to see any overtaking? Probably not. Probably not now. I think the big question is, from what we're learning here, is how did Ferrari improve that car before qualifying in just 3 hours' time? Because they need to make whatever the changes they need to make to this setup of the car. It needs to have a big impact. Mercedes seem to have their recent improvement in form is carrying through. George Russell, though, I mean, again, when we talk about driver and car, I think George Russell this year has shown that he's managed to wring every bit of performance out of that Mercedes. Obviously, Mercedes not the worst car on the grid, obviously, but they have not been comparable to the McLaren. And George Russell, I think, has managed to extract the maximum performance out of that Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli's improvement has been remarkable, actually, I think, over the last few Grand Prix. Be interested to see how they set that Mercedes up for qualifying. Alonso holding P7. Carlos Sainz, he'll be happy with the point, I'm sure, in that Williams. Performing better than his teammate Albon, and that's all you can really ask for in any team. So Bortoletto, we really, special mention for him. He's up 2 places, up to P11. Hulkenberg's down 2 places. So Stroll's gone out. On the soft tyre just to see. He's obviously put the fastest lap in. He's just thinking about setting up the car for qualifying later. Sensible, really. Mark says, I feel so bad for Lewis. All that money Ferrari are spending on him to be 17th. Come on, Ferrari. Acknowledge his potential and experience. Take note to him, surely. They should be listening to Lewis, in my opinion. I mean, even if you don't think Lewis is the fastest guy on the grid, you can't discount his experience and knowledge from being in championship winning teams. And Ferrari are not a championship winning team. you should listen to him anyway. Because I think Ferrari need to take a direction. They need to take direction from someone. There is no clear roadmap at Ferrari of how they are going to improve this team back to a championship winning team. Nobody has convinced me that Ferrari have come up with a roadmap forward that is compelling. Everyone just seems to be upset about the situation at Ferrari from the top to the bottom. Fred Vasseur, as team principal, has not come out and said, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and you can be confident that Ferrari will be back at the top within, well, in 26. And that's what it needs. The only person taking action who's getting slated for it, in my opinion, is, the drivers. Lewis Hamilton offering suggestions how the team can improve. Charles Leclerc really offering suggestions. Yet the drivers are told to be quiet and focus on driving. I think that tells you a lot. 2 laps left. Piastri looking good for 8 points. Norris looking good for 6. Verstappen looking good for 5. 2 laps left. Let's go. It's business. It's good business done here for Piastri. Qualifying pole. Taking the race. Mercedes will be happy. Really just confirming that Mercedes are going to be a very difficult team to get out of that P2 slot for the constructors team standing. But yeah, it is all a bit boring. They do need to do something to improve these sprint races. I think tyre is the answer. A super soft tyre that requires management from the drivers to get to the end of the race and to keep the performance. I think that could be it. A difficult tyre to manage would be good. A super soft. Are you listening, FIA? So Stroll taking the time to get some data for the soft tyre for qualifying later. But yeah, we do need to improve this format. It's just a little bit boring. Some tracks, like the Wooden says, just do not lend itself in the current format for a good race, for a good sprint race. Got to change it. Last lap now. So Tsunoda's got a 5-second penalty. That will drop him down to 6. That'll mean Antonelli will come up to P5. Still a decent sprint for Tsunoda to score points. Looking at his recent performances or his whole year, the whole season performance, to get any points at all is good for Yuki. Mark says reverse the grid. Can you imagine that? I'm not a fan of reverse grids. I mean, it makes for overtaking, but I'm not a fan of reverse grids, to be fair. They can't get rid of Spa. They cannot get rid of Spa. I hope they don't. We want wet races. Wet races bring excitement. They bring opportunities for the teams in the mid and the lower teams to score points, even get podiums, because that's when good drivers can really show their worth, where it removes the advantage of a good car. Wet races, we want them. And Spa always brings us a wet race. Although this year they did delay the race too long. So we're coming around now for Oscar Piastri to take the checkered flag. Piastri is your race winner. Russell P2, Lando P3. Nothing's changed. Verstappen P4. Tsunoda with his penalty will mean he'll drop down to P6. Antonelli P5. Alonso P7. I mean, it's a shame for Alonso qualifying P4. He would have liked to have done better there. Sainz P8, nicking a point. Hadjar P9, Albon P10. Bortoletto P11. Behrman P12. Leclerc, terrible day at the office for Ferrari. P13 for Leclerc. Lawson P14. Ocon 15. Hulkenberg 16. Hamilton will be just glad to finish the race. P17. Gasly P18. Stroll P19. Colapinto P20. So did the Ferrari learn anything that they could have learned? If I was Ferrari, actually, I would have done what Stroll had done and come in and put some softs on and try and just get ready for a good qualifying, mess with the setup of the car and just try to get some data. Yeah, I agree, Mark. Spa is awesome. And you've raced there, have you? Oh, amazing. Wet, dry, then wet driver's circuit. Yeah, I mean, it's a driver's circuit. It separates the men from the boys. All in says, now let's hope Piastri gets the pole too. Exactly. The best situation for us here would be Piastri pole, Verstappen P2, Lando P3, and then honestly, a DNF from Lando Norris in the race would be just great for Abu Dhabi, right? It'll get it so exciting for us all. So yeah, you know, not that exciting, the sprint race, but good result for Piastri. But it does lend... Well, I'm hoping that Ferrari can pull something together. Hey, Andrew. I agree. It is a total snooze fest. I'm still waiting for the racing to start. I agree. I'm hopeful that we get a more exciting qualifying. We get some improvements to the Ferrari setup where they can keep, you know, they can keep the Mercedes honest at least. But yeah, couple of hours time, we're back with qualifying. Let's see what can be done. Yeah, and the Wooden's right. Some of these modern tracks must have been designed by an idiot. Yeah, I mean, listen, let's see what qualifying can bring us. Hopefully a bit more excitement. Hopefully it sets us up for a good race, you know. But I am happy for Piastri. I'm happy for him to get his P1. Keeps him in the fight a little bit for qualifying. So yeah, let's see what we can do a little bit later. I will be back for qualifying at, let me tell you exactly what time we're going to be back. We're going to be back for the Watchalong at 5:45 GMT. So 15 minutes before the race, we'll be going live. 5:45 GMT for your qualifying. And yeah, it was a bit of a bloody snooze fest. Let's hope for a more exciting qualifying. But for now, thank you so much for watching the stream. I will see you all a little bit later. Ta-ta.